The pop music world has lost another giant figure. Robin Gibb of the Bee Gees died Sunday after a long battle with cancer.
Now for once in your life, you're alone.
Today, we're looking back at the final days of Robin Gibb, one of the unforgettable voices of the Bee Gees. Robin passed away on May 20th, 2012, after a courageous battle with cancer, pneumonia, and a severe intestinal illness. He was 62 when his kidneys failed, but his legacy in music was already eternal. Along with his brothers Barry and Maurice, Robin helped turn the Bee Gees into one of the most successful bands of all time. He wrote and sang some of the group's most beloved songs like Massachusetts and I Started a Joke. The latter, especially, became one of the most iconic songs in Robin's voice.
I'm going back to Massachusetts.
In the early days of the Bee Gees, Robin stood out with his trembling voice, but tensions with Barry led to a brief split in the late 60s. He rejoined in the early 70s, and the Bee Gees went on to become one of the symbols of the disco era. While all this creativity emerged from that tension, it also damaged the relationship between the brothers. The conflicts persisted during Robin's fight with cancer and even up until his final breath. The saddest moment came when Barry, in an emotional speech at the funeral, expressed his regret over their troubled relationship. Now, let's take a look at the final moments of Robin Gibb. If you enjoy today's video, don't forget to give it a like and share our content. In November 2011, the world learned that Robin was battling colon cancer, which had spread to his liver. He had undergone surgery in August 2010 to treat an intestinal blockage, the same condition that took his brother Maurice's life in 2003. During the procedure, doctors discovered a tumor and the cancer diagnosis followed. After his death, many false reports circulated. His son, Robin John, clarified that cancer wasn't what ultimately took his father's life. In fact, Robin was in remission, and the cancer had shrunk so much that it didn't even show up in scans. He died of kidney failure. This helps explain why Robin seemed so optimistic about his health in February 2012 when he announced that he had removed a tumor from his colon and was feeling fantastic. He was very active and seemed to be in great health. But in April, everything changed dramatically when he slipped into a coma. After more than a week unconscious, Robin woke up, surprising everyone. Dr. Andrew Thelania-Gom explained that although the future remained uncertain, the singer was conscious, lucid, and able to speak. Just 3 days earlier, Robin had warned his family that he feared the worst. He was suffering from pneumonia and liver failure, weakened by chemotherapy, and 2 emergency surgeries. At 62, no one expected him to recover, but miraculously, his condition improved. The doctor noted that this recovery was a testament to Robin's extraordinary courage, willpower, and incredible physical resilience. Everything seemed to be heading toward a happy ending, but in May, Robin passed away, leaving everyone puzzled. According to Robin John, the cause was kidney failure, a separate issue exacerbated by cancer and the harsh treatment. He expressed frustration over the disagreements between doctors on how to treat his father in his final weeks. The intensive care unit (ICU) team focused on easing his suffering, while other doctors wanted to reduce all sedative medications so he could fight. In the end, the decisions were left to the ICU. Robin seemed to be doing well until 3 days before his death when he suffered a seizure. He was sedated to manage the side effects of chemotherapy, but his liver could no longer process the medications. The organ deteriorated to the point that it also affected his kidneys. It was truly unexpected. Barry Gibb has always carried deep pain, not just from losing his brothers, but from the fact that they weren't on good terms when they passed. He watched them all go without ever truly being friends with them. When Maurice died, the essence of the Bee Gees seemed to fade because the group had always been inseparable. Robin used to say he would always be a Bee Gee, but Barry felt that deep down, Robin wanted to pursue a solo career. This created a rift between them. For the last 5 years, they barely spoke, a situation Barry compared to that of John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Their differences seemed insurmountable. In 1965, the Gibb brothers were wearing Beatles-style boots and writing their own songs, but success in Australia didn't come. So, they decided to return to England with their entire family in search of new opportunities. With perfect timing, they left Australia just days before their last single, Spicks and Specks, reached the top of the charts. The record label even sent a boat after them, but the brothers refused to return. When they arrived in the UK, they encountered a Beatles look-alike band at the Southampton docks. It should have been a good omen, but the band suggested they go back to Australia because no one was signing new groups. However, in less than a month, the Bee Gees secured a management contract with Brian Epstein's company, the Beatles manager, proving that prediction completely wrong. Once they achieved fame, Barry and Robin started clashing, as there were no clearly defined roles in the band, and they often argued about who would be the leader. Robin was the unlikely star of the trio, awkward, with crooked teeth and a big, messy head of hair, quite different from Barry, who was a natural frontman, handsome, tall, and confident. In 1967, the Bee Gees released their first international album, with Robin sharing lead vocals with Barry, standing out on the single Holiday. Although he didn't have his brother's physical presence, Robin's trembling voice exuded a unique energy, showcased in later hits like Massachusetts and I Started a Joke. Though melancholic, the latter song reached number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100. According to Barry, the best times of their lives were before fame, when there was no competition, and it didn't matter who sang what. The only time he felt a sense of reconciliation was when he kissed Robin on the head for the last time before he died. He never got to say goodbye to Andy or Maurice either. Maurice passed away in just 2 days, a huge shock to everyone. Robin's battle, on the other hand, lasted 2 years. When his brother passed, Barry felt guilt, remorse, and regret. He believes there was so much more life and potential between them that went unexplored, partly due to everyone's desire to be individual stars. Barry always suspected that Robin knew he was dying, despite insisting he had beaten cancer. He only realized the severity of the illness when he saw photos of Robin in the newspapers. The family didn't want Robin to be seen as an invalid, so information was slowly revealed. About 6 months before Robin's death, his wife, Dwina, began being more open about the situation. Barry heard stories about how Robin didn't want to go to the hospital or undergo chemotherapy, clear signs that something was wrong. His doctor in Miami, after seeing a photo, told Barry he needed to visit his brother immediately and gave him a prognosis of 3 to 6 months. When Barry visited, Robin was very weak but still able to laugh and talk. They reconciled, and Barry was glad they spent that time together. However, during his last visit, Robin was in a coma and unable to speak. Barry was in Miami when he got the news of his brother's passing. He had to leave the hospital 2 days earlier because his son Travis's wife was about to give birth. Up until 2 months before Robin's death, there had still been hope that he and Robin would record together again. But sadly, that never happened. The moment of his death was described as peaceful and dignified. Robin John held his father's head and right hand, while his mother held his left hand. He kissed him and made space for his brother Spencer, and together they held their father's hand, telling him they loved him. Half an hour later, after the medical team left, the family returned to say goodbye one more time. Reflecting on that moment, Robin John said, "One of my favorite Bee Gees songs, I Started a Joke, has the line, 'Till I Finally Died,' which started the whole world living, and I played it on my phone, placed it on my dad's chest, and we stayed together. I had tried to hold everything in until then, but that's when I cried like a baby." Robin's family announced that he would say a final goodbye to his fans in Thames, his hometown, before the funeral. People from all over England came to bid farewell to this iconic figure. One of the most emotional goodbyes came from Barry, who delivered a heartfelt speech filled with deep regret. "Even until the end, we found conflict with each other, which now means nothing. If there's conflict in your life, get rid of it." He spoke fondly of Robin and his sharp sense of humor, and also mentioned his other brother, the late Maurice Gibb, who died in 2003. The two of them were beautiful, and now they're together. When you're a twin for life. I think Robin's greatest pain over the last 10 years was losing his twin brother, and it affected him in many ways. The longing Robin felt for Maurice was so profound that his last words were, "I wish Mo were here. I can't believe he's gone." Even as he drifted in and out of consciousness, Robin never accepted the idea that he might be dying. He often talked about the possibility of going on tour with Barry again, and it was touching to hear him speak so lovingly about Maurice. It seemed he never fully accepted that his twin was gone, and he still felt that special connection they always shared. In addition to remembering Maurice, Robin made one last request, that the classic Bee Gees song, How Deep Is Your Love, be the first song played at his funeral, asking one of his sons to make sure it happened. With a fortune of 26 million euros, Robin ensured that his widow and 3 children were well taken care of. However, the situation was different for his daughter from outside the marriage, who was excluded from the inheritance. Robin married for the first time in 1968 to Molly Hullis, a secretary at Robert Stigwood's company, the Bee Gees manager. Together, they had 2 children. The 12-year relationship was strained by the band's success. Shortly after the wedding, Robin moved to the United States, and the couple barely saw each other. Molly refused to bring the children to America, leading to their separation. She had the children's custody, and Robin went years without seeing them. He only reunited with his kids when they were teenagers. By that time, he was already married to his second wife, Dwina, whom he met in 1980. At the time, Dwina was running a beanbag factory in London while trying to establish herself as an artist. Their relationship, which lasted until Robin's death, was considered open, allowing Robin to father a daughter with Claire Yang, the family's former housekeeper, in 2008. Despite the open marriage, Dwina reportedly prevented Claire and the daughter from attending the funeral. Although the daughter was excluded from the will, the housekeeper was gifted a property worth 850,000 euros by Robin. Additionally, there are unconfirmed reports that he gave Claire 4 million euros before he passed. Here on the channel, we've already released 3 full videos about the Bee Gees. If you're a fan of the Gibb brothers, make sure to check them out in the end screen. Thank you for staying with me until now, and see you next week.